Hello and welcome to another episode of the Average Joe Football Show. I'm your host, Joe Fair. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of your fun uncle's favorite football podcast. I'm joined, not once again, but for the first time, I believe, in the intro, by my co-host, Mike. How's it going, Mike?
Yo, Joe, what's up, dude? Great to be back.
Dude, it's great to be back. We're finally back. And you guys might notice it's a little different. Joe is not in the intro. We're going to be doing this a little while without him. He decided to just take a break, take a little step away from the podcast. There's no hard feelings. There's no drama. We don't need to, there's none of that. I was just at his birthday party yesterday. We're still good friends, but he needed to take a little time off on the podcast. So you're going to have to bear with us for the next few weeks. It's going to be a little bit of a transition going from him doing a lot of the hard work, like I always say, with all the audio stuff and everything, to me doing it. And I don't know what I'm doing at all. Before this, I just found out that my laptop has a button that you can block your webcam. And I was wondering why my webcam wasn't working. Took me like 15 minutes to figure that out. So I'm not very good with computers, but definitely going to give it my best shot. But yeah, we're back. We're recording this on a Saturday. It's the 26th of the month of, what month is it? March?
I think it's March. I think we're in March, Joe.
It's March. Shoot, all the days blend together. We didn't intend really to take this long of a break, but right now life is very hectic. My basement is getting finished. I had an unfinished basement getting finished. So I had to move everything. That's where we had all the audio stuff. And right now I'm recording back in my bedroom, back where this whole podcast started. So a little bit of, full circle here. But no, we're hopefully things will get popping there and I'll get myself a nice setup. But Mike, how have you been? How's your time off been? What you been up to? Non-football related or football related, whatever. What you been doing the last month and a half?
Well, Joe, I mean, like you said, it's been hectic. Life's been crazy. I figured taking some time off the pod would open up some time, but it just made it even, I think, crazier. Just been getting back into golf. It's warming up over here down in Texas.
There you go.
Golf games coming around. I got a tee time here in about 2 hours, so that'll be good. Dude, it's been epic. It's been crazy. Found out yesterday what gender our baby is.
Oh
for
my
you guys
goodness.
who don't know, me and my wife are pregnant. We're about halfway through. So
yeah, I don't even think we've announced that on the podcast that you and your wife are expecting your second child.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. I'm about to be a dad of 2.
That's exciting. So you know the gender of your
I do.
next baby.
I do.
There you go. Have you told like any of your family yet, or that's like happening later?
That is happening later. They're gonna find out at the birth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are not at the birth. They're not gonna be there, but they'll find out after.
Yeah. No, that's sweet. Awesome. I did not know you guys were doing that. That's really cool. That's sick. That's really exciting. No, that's awesome. Yeah, Mike's having another baby. I'm working on podcast stuff. It's been exciting times for all of us. But no, it's been good. And as far as the NFL universe, like, did we miss anything really? Like, not a whole lot happened.
To be honest, it's been one of the more boring off seasons. I'm kind of glad we took this break because there's been nothing to talk about.
It's not like there's a new news drop like every day that shakes up the league. Like nothing is like, it's been pretty quiet, no quarterbacks moving teams, no big receivers moving to different teams. Nope. It's been kind of weird. It's been kind of crazy. But no, obviously if you follow the NFL, you know that the last few weeks in the NFL since the end of the Super Bowl, since the Rams hoisted the Lombardi, free agency and everything has been unbelievable, just completely chaotic. I feel like ever since Mike really has come on the podcast, the NFL feels like it is just chaos all the time, and that totally kept going throughout free agency. We had so much stuff we missed. Quarterbacks moving all over the place. Tom Brady came back out of retirement. What the heck?
He saw the price of gas, Joe. He needs a job. He can't afford to sit at home and pay those gas prices.
Yeah, he's like, oh shoot, I got to get back out there, man. I'm not gonna be able to just live off my football money anymore. But no, I was saying he got 40 days in. And he's like, this is my family, really? Okay, maybe I don't want to spend time with these. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
I saw something that he was in for 40 days and he realized his family had lives. They were all gone, so he's just sitting at home watching Man in the Arena, and he just got tired of it.
He's like, you can only mow your grass so many times, man. Like I'm getting bored. I gotta get out.
Just
there.
Imagine you live in Florida, you drive past his house, and there's Tom Brady in white New Balance shoes mowing his yard. Like that's how you see Tom Brady for the first time.
Can you imagine? I would love to know if Tom Brady mows his own grass. That would be iconic. Tom Brady's walking around. He's got his shirt tucked into his pants with the white New Balances on. That's risky wearing the white New Balances, though, man. When you're mowing grass, they'll get green real quick.
That's no joke, especially in Florida. It's green all year round.
Oh, heck yeah. Not here. It literally, I kid you not, it was snowing just a few minutes ago here in Canada. So you're talking about how you're getting back into golf? Well, we might be preparing for another winter. I'm not even sure what the heck's going on here.
Yeah, it's 85 and no wind, sunny, which in Canadian, that's probably like mid-20s, closer to 30 degrees Celsius.
In Canadian, that's great. That's great. Oh, that's it just shows how different our lives truly are. You're out there living in paradise, and we wonder in the winter, why do we live here again? But summers are nice. But anyways, maybe we should get into football. We've been gone, and as far as the uploading stuff, guys, that we're recording this on a Saturday. We're hoping to get it up potentially on Monday or Tuesday, depending on how it goes. You'll have to bear with us the next couple weeks. It's just gonna be a little wonky as far as upload dates. We're still gonna try to get one out every week, but it's just we're kind of working in it's a whole new routine, and so we're working to get back into it.
But for those of you guys who don't know, we might not be on podcasts every week on the same schedule, but we have a new TikTok channel that you can follow us every day, posting content. It's epic. It's gonna be good. Hit us up on our TikTok page.
Yes, we are TikTokers now. Well, mostly Mike. Mike is running the TikTok page. I don't even know how to use TikTok, so I got to figure that out. I feel like I'm like 20 years older than Mike, but he's actually older than me. But Mike's doing a killer job with that TikTok account. It's really good. Just posting up just football stuff. Maybe we're going to post some, podcast related things, podcast questions. Make sure you guys give us a follow on that. It's _Average Joe Show. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, I believe it's the same as our Instagram.
Okay, so at _Average Joe Show. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. I'm going to try to be more active on Instagram. I've I've posted stories and stuff. I got to be better at that. So we're going to try to do better on there. And then also on Twitter at _Average Joe Show. I don't post as much on there, podcast-related stuff. It's mostly just me talking about the Dolphins. So if you want to see that, make sure you jump on there. But on this podcast, we talk about football and honestly free agency and the draft coming up and this kind of this area, because I've had a team that sucks every single year. And I mean, that's sorry, not every single year. That feels like a little over exaggeration, but they're a team that, they don't win very often. This has kind of been like my favorite time of year for NFL at times, because, we don't win games, but we often win free agency, and you can get excited about that. And I think we'll get into the Dolphins again later, but they potentially did that again. And in the end, a lot of times that doesn't really matter. But the NFL, I find the whole player movement thing and trades and draft picks and all that, to me, that's really entertaining. I love that aspect of football. Mike, I don't know how you feel about it, but I get really fired up around this time.
Well, Joe, as a Pats fan, we usually celebrate in February. March and April, we don't do anything as a team. We are the worst draft team, I feel like. And free agency, other than last year, we don't spend $1.
Yep.
So for a Pats fan, it's quite boring during this time of the year. But, it is fun watching every other team, the acquisitions that they get and everything that goes on, especially this year. How insane was free agency? I did not expect this. but like every 30 minutes, my phone's blowing up with this big trade, that big trade. And I was like, dude, this is nuts.
Yep. There was like legitimately a moment, like and it's kind of slowed down now, I feel like. And as we're saying that now, probably in between us recording this and uploading it, Kyler Murray is going to get traded to the Falcons or something. But
do you imagine?
But it seemed like after the Tyreek Hill trade, which we'll talk about later, it's like the day after that, it kind of slowed down, and it was almost like, what the heck? Why don't I get notifications on my phone anymore? Like, it's like, because before that, it was like every single day some sort of groundbreaking trade happened, and it was like, this was definitely one of the this is, I think, in my lifetime, the craziest offseason I've ever seen. This felt like the NBA. Like, the NFL has never been as big into trades and player movement as much as like the NBA, but it really feels like the players are kind of taking control, and this is becoming a lot more like the NBA.
I kind of enjoy that though, because like it's I think it's time for the players to get what they deserve, because you know, like you look at the receiver class, we have Devonta Adams, Tyreek Hill, and there's plenty of other big name receivers, but seeing them get paid this year was like, okay, that's good. You know, you usually see, you know, of course, Aaron Rodgers, the Patrick Mahomes, the Tom Brady's, the Russell Wilsons, all these big name quarterbacks get their big contracts. There's no money for the receivers, the tight ends, defense. And this year it seemed like every single position got just this massive contract. And I was like, good for them. Good for them.
Yeah. And a lot of the times in free agency like this, there's not like huge names that like get moved. Like even the guys that are free agents, they're sort of middle tier. There's occasionally like a high tier, you know, guy that'll be in free agency. Like when Peyton Manning was a free agent, like that was like, he's one of the biggest free agents of all time. But for the most part, it's like these borderline, not quite Pro Bowl level players. But this year it was like all pro here, all pro there, you know, Pro Bowler here, Hall of Famer here. Like there was just guys moving all over the place, and it was really, really, really fun. A lot of quarterback movement. I was talking to my buddy Joel. He's been on this podcast a couple times, and I remember right before free agency kind of started and kicked off, we were like, oh, I guess we got fooled again. No quarterback movement. How did we fall for this again? So it's like, we were so frustrated. We're like, no big names. Because at the combine, they were talking. Even the teams are talking. They're like, yep, looks like no veteran quarterbacks are going to be moved. And so we were like, oh, what the heck? Nothing's going to happen. And then boom, one after another, it happened. And why don't we start with the quarterback position? Obviously, the biggest position in all of sports. A lot of quarterback movement, even after it seemed like there would be no quarterback movement. But the one we got to start off with that kind of kicked everything off was the quarterback not moving anywhere. It was the quarterback staying with the same team. And it was Aaron Rodgers. So a couple of weeks back, right before the start of free agency, Aaron Rodgers announces that he's going back to the Green Bay Packers. He signs a brand new contract, 3-year, $150 million contract. $50 million per year. It seemed to be moving towards this direction. Mike, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I know after the season, after their season ended, I was on this podcast saying I think Aaron Rodgers is leaving. I think he's probably going to leave. He's not satisfied. But between the weeks, between that then and where we are now, you could really see it kind of turning towards Aaron Rodgers returning to Green Bay. I don't know what your thoughts. Were you surprised? And what are your thoughts? Do you think it was the right decision for Aaron Rodgers to go back to Green Bay, or should he have maybe tested going elsewhere?
Well, Joe, I honestly wasn't surprised, because it's like every year Aaron Rodgers has some kind of media around him. There's just drama. And so I was like, oh, is he leaving? Is he going elsewhere? I honestly thought he was going to Tennessee. I saw a report he was building a house in Tennessee. I was like, okay, they're making a trade. Didn't happen. When I heard he signed the deal, I was like, not surprised. But I am a little bit like curious if he did ponder free agency, like look around, because they lost a lot. The Packers have lost plenty of big players. Mm-hmm. So I feel like Aaron Rodgers probably should have signed elsewhere if he wants to go on a Super Bowl run to end his career. Like if he wants to just stay comfortable, first round playoff losses, Green Bay's the place to be, Joe. All day, every day. Put up 10 points, 14 points at home. You can do that. That's fine. But if he wants to win a Super Bowl, I think he would have needed to go elsewhere. That's why I was a little bit confused, especially with the money, the big money. And now they weren't able to pay some of these other big stars. So now that seems like the Packers are a bit gutted. But who knows? Maybe they're going to draft a bunch of big names in the draft, kind of like what Aaron's wanted, a first-round receiver. And who knows? Maybe the Packers go on a run next year. But I don't really agree with the signing. But I mean, I'm not the one signing for $150 million. So
yeah, listen, and you do make the argument that I understand what you're saying, like how he's done this song and dance in Green Bay over and over and over again, and they can't get it. And I don't even think that's the Packers' fault per se. I think Aaron Rodgers doesn't step up in big games. That's my opinion. With all due respect, I do think Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but we've seen him time and time again not step up. However, you can also make the argument, the NFC, if you look, and we'll get into everything that happened, but the NFC has been completely gutted. Like you were saying, the Packers roster is gutted. The NFC has been gutted of quarterbacks, of talent. It seems like in the NFC, you're either like, there's 4 teams that are kind of competing for the Super Bowl, and a lot of other teams are like tanking, essentially. Like some teams are rebuilding. And so you can make the argument that in the NFC, you have a clearer path to the Super Bowl.
Joe, I just want to say one thing while we're on the topic of quarterbacks. I think the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFC right now sit Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Dak and Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. I was trying to think about this.
That's like the top 4. Like, think about it. You have those two who have, they've done their thing for the past 15 years. And then you got Dak and Kirk Cousins. Like, that is a significant drop. I'm not saying Dak and Kirk don't have talent. I'm just saying that's a pretty steep drop.
Yeah, I was literally thinking about this the other day at work. I was like, who are the quarterbacks even in the NFC? And I think you have those 4. Like Kyler Murray, you could potentially, like, where do you rank him? Is he ranked above Kirk Cousins at this point? Do you think Kyler Murray's ranked above?
It depends. If he gets his stuff together, I think he can be a better quarterback, absolutely. But he also seems to be someone who loves the media and the spotlight and the drama. It's like every year they start 3-4-0, and then Kyler Murray just sits on the bench and pouts when they're down 7 points. He needs to step up and be a leader, Joe.
And Matthew Stafford, where would you rank Matthew Stafford?
Oh, I keep forgetting the Rams are in the NFC. Matthew Stafford would be up there with the other 2, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he probably is, but I don't think that honestly, and I'm a big Matthew Stafford fan. I don't think he's that much better than Kirk Cousins. If he even, like, I think they're probably fairly similar players. But yeah, no, that's definitely an interesting topic to talk about, and we'll have to talk about that more at some point. I also, listen, the same day that Aaron Rodgers, it was probably like half an hour to an hour after Aaron Rodgers announces he's going back to the Green Bay Packers, the biggest bomb of a trade happened. That was Russell Wilson being traded to the Denver Broncos. So he gets traded. I was stunned. Why don't we do a little thing? Let's do a shock-o-meter, Mike. Let's go from 0 to 5. How shocked were you when you heard, and we'll do this with a couple of these trades, when you heard that Russell Wilson was going to the Denver Broncos? Let's say 0, obviously you weren't surprised. You're like, oh, I knew it was going to happen. 5 is like, oh my goodness gracious, this was stunning. For me, it's probably like I would say like a 4 on this. Like, I was shocked when this news hit.
Yeah, I was, I'm going to also go with a 4. I felt like Russ had the potential to stay, and then when he did get traded, I was like, bro, it wasn't so much the team he got traded to. It was just like, I did not think they were going to actually drop Russell Wilson. I was like, he's there. He's the only reason that team's been relevant the last 3 years. So I was blown away that they were willing to let him walk. I'm not saying they didn't get anything in return. They got, what was it? A 4th-round pick went with Russ, but they got 2 first-rounders, a 5th-rounder, quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and defensive tackle Shelby Harris. So, I mean, the Broncos gave up a lot. The Seahawks got a lot for Russ. So, I mean, also 2 first-rounders. I missed it. They also got 2 first-rounders with Russ in that trade. So, the Broncos just got Russ and a 4th-rounder, but the Seahawks got a load for him. So, I mean, at the end of the day, did the Seahawks truly lose anything here, Joe?
I want to get your opinion on that. Like, who do you think won the trade. And to me, to me, it's very, very obvious who won the trade. And I saw people making arguments. So yeah, Denver got Russell Wilson and a 4th-round pick. Seattle gets 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a 5th, and then Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris. I think it's completely ridiculous to say that the Seattle Seahawks won this trade, to me, in my opinion. I saw some people saying Seattle, and you can disagree with me, but any trade, and I understand they gave up a lot, but honestly, they didn't give up that much if you think about it. People are like, oh, they traded away their whole future. No, they didn't. They traded away like their next 2 years. 2 years for potentially what? 8 years, 10 more years of a franchise quarterback. Even if you think that Russell Wilson is not an elite quarterback like he used to be, it's a franchise quarterback. Like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. To me, it's absolutely worth it. And to me, to say that the team that acquired a franchise quarterback lost a trade is ridiculous.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, the Broncos, by far, in my opinion, won this trade. You know, like I said, they got Russ. The team it's a pretty well-established offense. They were just needing a quarterback, and now they got a quarterback. Their defense wasn't awful. And the people that are saying the Seahawks won the trade, I don't understand how, because they got Drew Lock, which, in my opinion, he's not going to win them a Super Bowl. And the Seahawks have yet to help Russell Wilson in any way the past couple of years with an offensive line. So giving them 4 draft picks, what are they going to do? Draft 3 corners and a tight end. And now we still have a faulty offensive line that can't protect anybody. And so you're not going to go anywhere. So those picks are probably not going to be anything. So, yeah, no. If you think the Seahawks won the trade, I think you are very much mistaken.
Absolutely. They got rid of their quarterback, dude. Like they got rid of a franchise quarterback. You just for what? So that Pete Carroll could win? Like I do not understand. I think you got to do everything you can when you have a franchise quarterback to keep him in the building. To me, I'm excited for the Denver Broncos. I'm excited for that team. I think they're going to be. Listen, they're in a tough division. That AFC West is unbelievable. You have Patrick Mahomes, you got Justin Herbert, you got Russell Wilson. He might be the 3rd best quarterback in that division, to be honest. I don't know what your thoughts
Derek
are.
Carr.
Yeah, listen, Derek Carr's a really good quarterback. I know people hate on him, make fun of him. He's definitely the 4th best in that division probably, but the Raiders, they're loading up. I really like what they've done this offseason. That whole division is unbelievable. Where do you think this puts the Broncos in that division? Where do you think they rank as far as the division rankings go?
All right, Joe. There's a hot take. We got Chargers number 1.
Okay.
And then we're going to go Broncos.
Okay.
And then it's a toss-up between the Chiefs and the Raiders.
Oh,
and
man.
Of course, everyone knows I'm a Chief hater. But what the Chiefs did with their number 1 offensive weapon, and they've also dropped a lot of receivers, I don't know. I'm very curious to see what the Chiefs' offense is going to look like. We have no clue. Yeah. So I put the Chargers number 1. And then you could honestly say the Broncos, Chiefs, and Raiders are all a toss-up for 2. But I like the Broncos over the Chiefs. The Broncos had some good games against the Chiefs last year, and now they actually have a quarterback. So let's see where that goes.
Yeah, I would probably rank the Broncos 3rd in the division. I still believe that the Chiefs, I mean, I like I said, I think Russell Wilson is the 3rd best quarterback in that division, which is crazy to even think about. But and I think the Broncos are probably the 3rd best team. Although, like the Raiders, I don't feel comfortable putting them at 4 because they're a good team. Like they're a really good team. Any other division, the Raiders are probably winning the division.
Joe, they picked up Devontae Adams, Chandler Jones, signed Max Crosby to a big deal. Like the Raiders made some big changes. They got Josh McDaniels in the offseason.
Exactly.
The entire Patriots coaching staff with him.
Oh yeah, literally, Patriots have nothing left. But yeah, no, that's definitely an interesting discussion, and we'll definitely talk more about the Devontae Adams trade and all that in a bit. But then let's quickly run through a few of these other quarterbacks. So while after all this was going on, a couple days later, Tom Brady announces he's coming back after only 40 days retiring. This makes sense. I mean, I was not surprised. Like shock-o-meter, I was probably like a 2.5, right in the middle. Like I was shocked that it happened, but it was like it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, this one was like a 1.5, 2 for me as well. I was like, the NFC is nothing now, so why not win another Super Bowl?
Easy path to the Super Bowl. He comes back. Everybody re-signs with the Buccaneers, essentially. They get Ryan Jensen back. They get Leonard Fournette back. They get Carlton Davis back. The Bucs are loading up. They think they can win another Super Bowl. I think it's definitely reasonable to think that they have a real shot at the Super Bowl. But did you just smack your elbow?
I did, Joe. I did.
Ouch. That looked like that hurt. Oh, my goodness.
That was a bit painful.
Okay, he's just. Then we'll move on if you don't want to talk about Tom Brady that bad.
No,
Sorry.
I'm over it, Joe.
Okay.
That was my signal right there. Like, let's get out of here.
Yeah, stop talking about Tom Brady. All right, let's move on to the next big quarterback that moved. And this, you could argue, this was the best quarterback. Well, I guess Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he one of the best quarterbacks to be moved. And this is a tricky situation. Deshaun Watson did end up getting traded to the Cleveland Browns for an absolute haul. Well, actually, I mean, we'll get into that, but I was surprised. I didn't think that, Houston got as much back as I thought they would get for it. But this whole situation, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Mike. I know you have a daughter, and so you have maybe different thoughts on the whole, because the whole his treatment of women and the whole situation, and it's a tricky situation. And I did find it kind of gross at one point when he was kind of doing this recruiting tour, and he got to tell teams, "Oh, I'm not going to you. I'm not going to you." And he just drug it out for so long, and it's like, shut up and choose a team, man. Like, you're lucky that you're even being able to. And listen, innocent, and I'm not trying to say that he's guilty. I have my opinions. People have their opinions. I won't get into that, but it's just like, you're lucky to be in this situation that you can still play football, and he's like dragging it out and doing this whole thing. To me, that was so annoying. I was so annoyed with that whole thing.
Yeah, same here, Joe. And what people don't understand is, Deshaun was very talented quarterback. He's been out of the NFL for a year and a half. He hasn't played football for like a year and a half. And who knows if he's even going to play this year. He could be suspended for multiple games, a whole season. We don't know. But I just don't get the Browns, like, every single quarterback the Browns draft, it's like they want, like they said, they were wanting to move on from Baker because they wanted an adult quarterback. And then they go for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that is the dumbest thing ever.
Like, I do not understand where, like, how can you, like, literally, and then after Deshaun said, no, I'm not coming to Cleveland, they tried to mend what they broke with Baker, and Baker said he wasn't having it. And then they end up getting Deshaun, but I'm just so confused, like, how you can completely disregard a man who literally tore every ligament in his body last year playing for you, and just say, we're going to move on and go after another quarterback who might not play for us for a year, who might not play in the NFL. We have no clue what's going to happen. And you gave him $230 million, basically all guaranteed.
Yeah, and listen, it's a business. We know there's business decisions, but it is, I was, the way that they drug Baker Mayfield's name through the mud in this whole situation that was disgusting. Like, come on, that dude, he came there, he embraced Cleveland, an organization that was complete garbage when he got there, and like, he won a playoff game, nearly beat the Chiefs in the playoffs too, like, and he played good football. I understand, and he was injured this whole last season, and then to go and say, oh, we want an adult at quarterback, oh yeah, and then you go get a freaking potential sexual deviant. It's like, come on, you don't want an adult quarterback. You want a guy who can throw the ball harder than Baker Mayfield.
Exactly. And what also bugs me is there was the whole Odell drama. There were plenty of balls Odell dropped that were in his hands. It was not Baker Mayfield. Now, I'm not going to say Baker Mayfield's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, but Deshaun Watson isn't either, in my opinion. All these Deshaun Watson stands who think that he's the greatest quarterback outside of Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, the man has not played competitive football for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the hype? I don't understand. And then you see teams like the Falcons taking Marcus Mariota over Baker Mayfield, and it's like, Why is Baker getting literally shut out of the NFL?
Yeah. What is that? What is even going? I don't understand. Like, Baker is all of a sudden chopped liver. It's like, what do we do? Like, people are like making memes and stuff about him that he's garbage, and like, he's a good quarterback. Like, people are like, he could probably start on. There's numerous teams. He's a better quarterback than Tua. He's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. He's a better quarterback probably than like Mac. I know Mac Jones is not fair. He's kind of like a rookie, but like, I mean, like, he's shown more than guys like that. He's shown more than Marcus Mariota, like you were saying. He's shown like he can be a good quarterback. Is he a top 5 quarterback? No. And listen, and you were saying the thing about the Odell thing, and is Baker Mayfield perfect? No. I know he can get on people's nerves, and I don't know if he's the best teammate in the world, but like, that whole nonsense with the Browns was so terrible. And then to bring in Deshaun Watson so the Browns were eliminated. Deshaun Watson was doing his whole tour, and he was saying, Panthers, I don't want to go to you. Browns, I don't want to go to you. And all of a sudden he goes to the Browns. And the only reason he went to the Browns, he lied about this in his press conference. I know it's a lie. He said that it had nothing to do with the contract. It's like, whatever, dude. You eliminated them. The Browns came back and said, okay, we'll give you a $230 million fully guaranteed contract, which is crazy. He's now being rewarded with a new contract after all this is going on. That's the only reason he signed with Cleveland. I'm convinced of it. They realized they couldn't mend the fences with Baker. They're like, oh, shoot, we got to do everything we can to go get this guy. So he ends up picking Cleveland. Cleveland gets him for, they get Deshaun Watson and a 6th-round pick, and they trade away 3 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick, 2 4th-round picks. And that's the whole haul. To be honest, I was surprised. I thought it would be more than that, but definitely still a big amount of assets going towards the Houston Texans. They finally rid themselves of this issues. But why don't we talk football a little bit? I mean, I know we talked a lot about the personal side of things and Deshaun Watson. How good does this make the Cleveland Browns? Do you think this makes the Cleveland Browns a Super Bowl contender? Do you think that they can win the division with Deshaun Watson? Like, where do the Cleveland Browns go from here?
I think the Cleveland Browns stay at number 3, Joe.
Really?
We have Joe Burrow and the Bengals, who just beefed up their offensive line. The one problem they had. People are, again, doubting the Bengals. I'm like, the Bengals right now are the number 1 team in the division. We saw them last year go to a Super Bowl. We know what they can do.
Until proven otherwise.
Exactly. And then you got the Steelers and the Ravens. The Ravens were literally the most injured team, I think, last year, and they were 1 game from making the playoffs.
Yep.
The Steelers just got a new quarterback in Mitch Trubisky, which people are dogging that deal. Meanwhile, they made the playoffs with Ben Roethlisberger, who couldn't throw the ball farther than 5 yards down the field.
Yep.
So it's like, how can you be much worse? And then you got the Browns, who don't even have a quarterback guaranteed to start the beginning of next season. They do. They have Jacoby Brissett, who will probably be their starter if Deshaun Watson can't. And so I do not see that team being a Super Bowl contender until the next season. But then Deshaun would be out of the NFL for 2.5 years.
Yep. And
we have no idea what he's going to be like.
Yeah, I'm telling you, next season is going to suck for Cleveland. I'm convinced. I've made my, like, I've talked about Deshaun Watson a lot because the Dolphins were in on him for so long, and you know, I've probably contradicted myself many times in all this. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he has the ability to be an MVP level quarterback. Again, he's been out of football, like you said, for 1.5 years, so who knows how long it's going to take him to get back in, if he ever gets back to what he was playing at. I think in the long run, this makes Cleveland better. This year, though, like, Deshaun Watson's probably going to get suspended for at least, at the very minimum, 4 games. And then you have to play with Jacoby Brissett. And I'm telling you, man, Jacoby Brissett's a bad quarterback. I don't know why they traded Case Keenum away, but they should have kept Case Keenum because he's a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett. It's going to be a struggle there for Cleveland for a little while this season and into the next few seasons, depending how long it takes for Deshaun Watson to get back into it. But another thing, I don't know if you watched Deshaun Watson's opening press conference that he had.
I did not.
Oh, man. I watched it just before we were recording this. I was just prepping for the podcast, and I was watching a little bit. It is the most somber thing. Like, you would never guess that a team is getting a new franchise quarterback. Like, it is dead in there. Everybody looks miserable, and the reporters are just grilling Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, and Deshaun Watson. It's brutal.
Yeah, no, I have not seen it, but I mean, what do the Browns expect? Like,
yeah,
I'm
surprised they even
I don't
did
get
a
the move,
press
but
conference.
I mean,
but
yeah, this trade. I mean, was I surprised? Absolutely, but it's like if there's a team that would do something like this, it would be the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I can in that aspect of it too. It's like you can totally just see this going so bad for the Browns, just going so bad. I hope. Wow, I don't know. It's hard because I almost say I hope not because I've always liked the Browns. I've always rooted for the lovable losers, but this whole situation definitely makes it very messy. But yeah, if as far as the press conference goes, if you want to see the polar opposite, even if you just watch for a little bit, anybody listening to this, go to the Cleveland Browns YouTube, watch the Desean. You can watch 5 minutes of the Deshaun Watson presser, and then go and watch the Dolphins. Go on to the Dolphins page and watch Teron Armstead and Tyreek Hill. Spoilers, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Tyreek Hill's opening press conference. The vibes are completely different. One is like a funeral, and the other one is like a 21st birthday party. It's a good time. Everybody's excited. But yeah, the vibes in Cleveland, even though you got a franchise quarterback, the vibes are not great with the Cleveland Browns. But why don't we move on to a couple of the teams that missed out on Deshaun Watson. They tried to trade for Deshaun Watson. He decided, nope, I'm going to get my fully guaranteed contract. The most fully guaranteed money ever, by the way. The Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints were two of the other teams. They seem like the favorites to land Deshaun Watson. We don't need to talk too much about their quarterbacks, but New Orleans brings back Jameis Winston for a new deal, and Atlanta ends up trading Matt Ryan because obviously Matt Ryan's ticked off that they're going to get, that's another aspect of this whole situation. Matt Ryan, who's been a stand-up guy there for the Atlanta Falcons his whole career, and now they're going and they're trying to trade. And again, innocent until proven guilty. I get that, and I'm trying to be down the middle. But you go and get a guy with all these legal issues. It's a bad look for Atlanta.
Yeah, that's for sure, Joe. And I don't know if you saw, but Atlanta had a longer tribute post for Drew Brees than they did for Matt Ryan.
No way.
Yeah, by like 30 seconds.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding. I'm not
kidding me? Oh, I did not see that. That is
Matt Ryan's was like
unreal.
under a minute, and then Drew Brees was like a minute and a half.
No way.
Like
that,
dude.
that is
also,
so
Joe,
bad.
for more, if you want more memes, they traded Matt Ryan, and they got a third rounder, and it was the 82nd pick.
The 82nd pick.
So 328.
Oh, okay. It took me a little bit, but okay. Of course. 320. Yeah, you got to have that 28-3 again.
The Falcons were just doing him dirty.
Yeah. The Falcons are rebuilding. They're going into a full rebuild. They were going all out for Deshaun Watson. They didn't get him. Jameis Winston's back with New Orleans. I don't know. Doesn't entertain me all that much. But I do want to talk about the team that Atlanta traded Matt Ryan to, and that's the Indianapolis Colts. So Indianapolis traded a 2022 third-round pick for Matt Ryan, which in my opinion is a steal. You saw quarterbacks going for way more, and I think the reason that they got such a good deal is because the Falcons had to trade him because they were up against a deadline of his contract becoming, I think, guaranteed for this year. So they trade him for a third-round pick. They have a $40 million dead cap hit going into this year, the biggest dead cap hit for any team in NFL history. What are your thoughts on the Matt Ryan to Indy? Where does this put Indy? Does this make them, a Super Bowl contender? Does this make them a division contender? Like, where are they? Are they a wild card team? What do you think Matt Ryan going to Indianapolis means for the Colts?
I think it helps. But another franchise where I'm very confused because they said they were done with Band-Aid quarterbacks. They wanted to get their guy, their future guy, and they go and pick up a 36-year-old quarterback who, I'm not going to lie, Matt Ryan's still playing good football, but for how long? 2 years, 3 years? He's retired, and now you got the same problem. I will say I think that Matt Ryan is a Carson Wentz, but smarter with the football.
Mm-hmm.
Not a superstar, but someone who can win you games for sure. But no, I think it was a good move for Indy because we watched Carson last year. Like almost every single play, he just put his body and the ball on the line way too often. And for Indy, that was probably just so stressful. And to go get a guy that's a bit more consistent with the football, who now I think has a better O-line, a better team around him, I think it puts the Colts as potential playoff contenders. I wouldn't say Super Bowl contenders because of the AFC just being absolutely stacked this year.
Does it put them ahead of the Titans? Do you think that it puts them ahead of the Titans?
Yeah, I think they are now. I think they're, because if you look at the Titans, the Titans, I know they went on a run last year, but I just don't see Ryan Tannehill being a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I think Tennessee could also make the playoffs, but I think this puts the Colts above them.
I think it's a toss-up. I think they're kind of similar teams, honestly. They're dependent on the run game, and they just need their quarterback to do enough. I definitely think the Colts need to go get more weapons. I like Michael Pittman. I think he's a good receiver. Other than that, they have nothing. I would be interested to see if all of a sudden Julio Jones jumps on the ship and returns, play with Matt Ryan. He got cut by the Titans. That would be interesting. But no, you're talking about the Band-Aid quarterback. And to me, I like Matt Ryan. I've always liked Matt Ryan. The Dolphins should have picked him instead of Jake Long back in the 2008 draft. I'll say that all day, every day. But yeah, how long are the Colts going to do this? Like, how long are you just going to get these 1-2 year fixes? Like, you got to go out and get a guy. And I understand Andrew Luck quit on you, and that was put you in a tough spot. But this might make you better, sure. I don't think it makes them a Super Bowl contender right now. I could be wrong, but how long are we going to do this? The Band-Aid quarterback. Okay, we'll just get this guy for 1 or 2 years. Honestly, I didn't think that. I thought they were overreacting a little bit getting rid of Carson Wentz. I didn't think he was that terrible. But it's like, does this make them better? Probably. Does this make them better down the road? No. It's like, and you're in a tough AFC with a ton of really good quarterbacks. Like, I don't know. I just don't know how it makes them better in the long run. It's a good move for now. But how much longer are we going to do this? And then we can quickly talk about Carson Wentz. Obviously, he got traded since Matt Ryan was there. He got traded to Washington Commanders so Indianapolis got a third-round pick, another third-round pick that could turn into a second-round pick with that 70% playing thing that the Eagles had on their trade, and then a 2022 second-round pick, and Washington got Carson Wentz and a second-round pick. So it was a pick swap there in 2022. Honestly, a lot more than I thought they would get. They got a decent deal. I don't know what the Commanders are doing. This doesn't excite me at all. I don't like the vibes of Carson Wentz in Washington.
Yeah. With that field being known to take injuries, I feel like that's a bit scary to have Carson Wentz over there. I will say, Joe, this makes him a clear number 2 favorite in the division. So
clear number 2.
Which you only need to win 5 games to be number 2 in that division. So
fair enough. We don't need to talk too much about that. Also, the Pittsburgh Steelers signed Mitcher Trubisky, baby. Our boy is back. I know that was more me and Joe's boy, but Mitcher back on he's in a starting role, it seems, again. I was surprised by that. I think it's interesting. I actually low-key think Mitcher is a better quarterback than he's given credit for. He's not great. He's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but I'm interested to see how he plays there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I think that he's an upgrade from Ben Roethlisberger. This is no hate to Ben. I believe Ben was one of the best quarterbacks in the league for a long time, but he did decline there near the end of his career, and I think Mitch has the arm. And I don't see how this is a downgrade. Yeah.
I think it literally makes them better than they were with Ben Roethlisberger last year. But anyways, that's most of the quarterback movement. We've spent a lot of time on quarterback. Oh,
Joe,
shoot.
Before we move on.
Oh, man.
We got one more quarterback. It'd be crazy for me not to mention this one. He is the biggest quarterback signing of the offseason. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Okay. I must have missed this one. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Teddy Bridgewater signing a 1-year deal with the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, shoot. Yes. How could I miss Teddy Bridgewater signing a 1-year deal to go compete with Tua? Oh, boy. Listen, I guarantee you Teddy Bridgewater will start at least 5 games this year. It will happen. You know how I feel about Tua. He's going to get injured at some point. It's going to happen.
Yeah, no, exactly. But, hey, Joe, while we're on the topic of your Miami Dolphins, why don't you fill us in with how the Dolphins did this year in the free agency?
Oh man, where do I start? Why don't we? Yeah, let's talk about it. I wanted to talk about some trades. Huge trade happened with my Miami Dolphins. So it was quite a crazy 48 hours a couple days ago. The Dolphins finally signed Teron Armstead, kind of the consensus number one free agent. They get a left tackle on the offensive line there. And then out of nowhere, this happened so fast. There's rumors Tyreek Hill is searching for a trade. He's been given permission to seek a trade by the Kansas City Chiefs. And then all of a sudden, boom, Adam Schefter says the Dolphins and the Jets are the two finalists. And then boom, just a few seconds later, Dolphins trade for him. They gave up a haul for him. I'm not going to lie. It's a first-round pick this year, second-round pick this year, a fourth-round pick this year, a fourth next year, and a sixth next year. So that's a lot to give up, but I'm excited. I'm really excited. Tyreek Hill's awesome. He's like he is one of if not the best wide receiver in the NFL in my opinion. Do I think that his production will be the same on the Dolphins? Probably not. I'm being realistic with myself. He's getting up there in age. He's 28 years old, but he's still to me one of the most explosive players in the NFL. This gets me really, really fired up. He got a brand new contract as well, 4-year, $120 million contract with $72 million guaranteed. So it's a huge deal. Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know. Like, as a Dolphins fans, I'm kind of like, I've been trained to like expect the worst, and I have a feeling things will end bad and he'll be washed up at some point, and he's not going to play all these years of these contracts. I bet you that. But it's nice to be excited about this team when, you know, that doesn't always happen. They now have Jalen Waddle along with Tyreek Hill. And then you have Mike Gesicki and all these weapons. They went and got Raheem Mostert. You know, it's an exciting time to be a Dolphins fan. Will it work out? That's going to be on Tua or Teddy Bridgewater, depending on who's playing games. But I'm definitely excited. I don't know what your thoughts were on this trade.
You know, as a Pats fan, I would have rather have seen him gone to the Jets because I know they would have wasted his talent. As a Pats fan who watches his team lose to the Dolphins twice a year for the most part, I'm not excited at all. I would have rather have seen him gone to the Bills, to be honest. But, you know, no, I think it's good. You know, I think Tyreek deserved to get paid. I think he will be the clear number one option in Miami, if not, you know, two behind Waddle. But I think him and Jalen Waddle will make a great duo. They'll bring back, I bet, a lot of the Wildcat offense. With his speed and everything. So I think it was a great signing. I think it was good for the Dolphins to finally get something right. But now the question looms after signing Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think that he will be a starter, but it's like, are we going to have more back and forth drama with the quarterback position?
Yeah. Yep, that's a big thing. And I do want to say, like, Tua's getting a lot of slander, and I've made my opinions very clear on Tua. Like, you know how I feel about him. I said I was out on him. I was kind of over him. They're sticking with him, and that's fine. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Tua becomes a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I don't see it right now, but I do want to defend him for a little bit. People are like, oh, how is Tyreek Hill going to succeed when Tua can't throw past 15 yards or whatever? And it's like, watch Tyreek Hill's like film. He doesn't just run 70 yards down the field every single time. Like, he's an explosive player. You can get him involved in a bunch of different situations. And also, it's a little overblown. Tua can throw down the field. He can't throw down the field like Patrick Mahomes. Not even close, but nobody can, except for maybe Josh Allen. But it's like, they'll use him in different spots. Like, I'm not worried about that oh, Tua can't throw to Tyreek Hill. He can't get the ball to him. It's like, that's overblown in my opinion.
No, I agree with that. And I think that Tyreek Hill running, you know, post and seam routes, I think waste his talent. The man's talent is his speed, and why not give him a 5-yard, you know, 5-yard slant route, or a give him the ball, you know, out of the backfield, or like let him use his legs. He doesn't need to run 70 yards down the field and try to beat a defensive back. He can beat a defense back like off the line. And I think that's where he's going to fit well with Miami. I think they're going to use that a lot more than the Chiefs did. So I don't know. I think it's a good fit. I wasn't overly salty. I was like, you know, good for him. Do I wish he came to the Patriots? Absolutely. But you know, that would, you know, Bill Belichick doesn't sign big name players.
Yeah, except for last year. And then Patriots fans are probably like, it's going to be different. And then it's the same thing again this year.
Yep.
But any other trades you want to talk about? There was just a ton of huge trades.
Joe, I got a list here. I highlighted some of the big name ones. Let me run through it real quick. All right. Let me flip through okay, we're back on the Dolphins. The Dolphins signed Raheem Mostert to a 1-year deal. Also, wide receiver Cedric Wilson to a 3-year deal, $22.8 million. Mm-hmm. We'll just skip the Patriots because they've done absolutely nothing. Cincinnati goes out and gets La'el Collins from the Cowboys, I believe. He signed a 3-year deal, which, hey, boost that O-line. Of course, we already talked about the Browns, but they also got Amari Cooper in a trade with the Cowboys. And then, if we go over, we talked about the Colts. Jaguars, I'm a little bit stumped about what they're trying to accomplish here, Joe. They signed wide receiver Zay Jones to a 3-year, $24 million deal.
Gracious.
And wide receiver Christian Kirk to a 4-year, $72 million contract. Joe, I think it's time we get the pads out. We go, try out for Jacksonville. We could probably make $40 million.
Dude, even if I could probably be... with the way the Jaguars are paying guys, I could probably be at least a $4 million receiver,
I don't doubt that, Joe. I don't doubt that. But then we move on to Kansas City. They signed Juju Smith, so Jackson Mahomes and Juju will get to film TikToks together.
There you go. See if you can get involved in that, Mike.
Hey, I could probably go sign a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, my favorite franchise. Then the Oakland Raiders go out and get wide receiver Davante Adams in a trade from the Packers. He will be getting $141 million contract over 5 years, $28 million a year. Chandler Jones also signing with Oakland, like we talked about earlier. Max Crosby signing. And in Los Angeles, this AFC West, Joe, absolutely went off in the offseason. They re-signed Mike Williams on a 3-year deal. They get Khalil Mack in a trade. They get J.C. Jackson from the Patriots on a 5-year deal. That's why I believe the Chargers will be the number 1 team in that division, Joe.
Yeah, they got Khalil Mack. Holy smokes. That almost like flew under the radar.
Exactly. I mean, then J.C. Jackson, that defense is stacked, Joe.
Dude, that trade was very surprising to me to go and get Khalil Mack. And then I do want to talk a little bit about the Davante Adams trade. That was another stunner. To me on the Shockometer, this was a 5. I was stunned out of my mind when this thing hit. Like, the Packers traded Davante Adams. He's one of the best, if not the best receiver in the NFL, to the Las Vegas Raiders for a 1st and a 2nd round pick in this year's draft. First of all, not that much to give up, to be honest. That was pretty low. I thought he was going to get more than that, but it is a huge contract. I think that's the big thing in this trade. Where do you think this leaves the Raiders? Like, do you think that Davante Adams can have the same production with Derek Carr that he had with Aaron Rodgers, or is it just more of an Aaron Rodgers type situation that it was just him, kind of boosting Davante Adams up?
Well, I'm not sure if he'll have the same production, but I think that offense will perform at a way higher level. It'll free up Hunter Renfrow for sure. And Derek Carr he's no joke. Derek Carr can play good quarterback. He had pretty well stats last year. And they used to be teammates, Joe. A lot of people don't know that. They used to be teammates in college, I believe.
Fresno State.
I think Derek Carr owes Davante Adams a car, if I'm not wrong.
Really? Why?
Davante Adams said that if Derek Carr said if he came to Las Vegas, he'd buy him a car. And
really?
He came to Vegas. And Davante said he's looking at some Ferraris, so we'll see how that turns out. No, I think the Raiders. I don't think Davante will be as what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think the chemistry between Aaron Rodgers and Davante is one of a kind. I do think he'll have a lot of success in Las Vegas though. So I'm very excited to see that whole division play. It's going to be really interesting. But we also had the Rams re-signing Matthew Stafford. Massive contract extension. And they also got Allen Robinson, Joe.
Yes, that was big.
3-year, $46.5 million deal, Joe. Allen Robinson joins the other 6 top receivers in the NFL. Basically, the Rams are stacked in that department. So, man, that Rams team is just building for another. I don't know where they're getting this money from, but they're building for another Super Bowl run.
I thought that was a crazy signing. They ended up trading Robert Woods to the Tennessee Titans.
That is correct.
Just a few days after that. But that was a surprise signing, Allen Robinson going there. I thought he would be going to the Jets or something, but I think he's finally like, I want to play with a good quarterback. I don't blame him. Go play with a good quarterback. That Rams team is going to be crazy. Like, just Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson. Are you kidding me? That's a fun duo. Even if Robert Woods is not there.
You can't forget. Okay, yeah. So you got Kupp. You got Allen Robinson. Odell still technically, I think, or is he a free agent? I'm not sure.
He is a free agent. There's been a lot of rumors that he's just going to come back.
If he comes back, they got Odell. They also got, is it Van Jefferson or Jefferson?
Yeah.
Whatever
Van
his first
Jefferson,
name is.
yep.
Yeah. They got Tyler Higbee as a tight end. So that offense is full of talent, Joe.
Oh, yeah. And then they got Cam Akers in the backfield. Sony Michel played really well and last year. And Darrell Henderson was playing good at times as well. But no, that Rams team looks good. Why don't we just get into our final segment here, unless you have anything else you want to talk about, and do some winners and losers.
I was going to say, let's go winners and losers, and then let's run through the divisions real quick.
Yes.
Kind of where we think the divisions will play out. So for my free agency winners and losers, I got the winners as the AFC West.
Why don't we do, you give me one winner. Give me one winner or a loser, anything. Winner or a loser, and then I'll give you one, and we'll kind of just go back and forth.
Sorry, I jumped the gun there. I'm glad you said that, but I'm still going to stick with my...
You're excited.
My winner is still going to be the AFC West, Joe. I know it's not just one team, but that entire division, I feel like every team, maybe outside the Chiefs didn't do anything massive, but that entire division just completely went off in free agency.
Absolutely. I think, a winner would be their chances of being on primetime games. That's going to be a lot of AFC West football. I'll have one that aligns with that. I'm going to say my biggest one, not my biggest loser. One of my biggest losers is the Kansas City Chiefs. So far in this free agency. Listen, I still think they're really good, but the entire rest of your division is loading up on talent. Yeah, the Raiders getting Devontae Adams. Yeah, Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. The Chargers went all out, just spending like crazy. Everybody's loading up, and you just got worse. I understand you got Marquez Valdes-Scantling. You got Juju Smith-Schuster, some of the craziest names of any receiving core ever. But you got rid of your biggest weapon, and you actively got worse. And this could change in the draft, but even you're not going to find a guy in the draft that's immediately going to be like Tyreek Hill. So that's one of my biggest losers. And then I'll just give you a winner right away because we're talking about the AFC West. The Los Angeles Chargers are probably one of my biggest winners, and Justin Herbert is one of my biggest winners from free agency. They re-sign Mike Williams. You kind of talked about a lot of this, but they re-sign Mike Williams. They bring in J.C. Jackson. That's, what were your thoughts on the Patriots losing J.C. Jackson real quick?
I was heartbroken. I thought J.C. would sign a deal with the Pats, but as the days went on, I started losing hope, and I just came to the realization that the Pats were not going to go get him. They're going to stick with Jalen Mills, and we also got Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl hero Malcolm Butler back.
He's back.
Greatest cornerback to ever live, Joe. So, I'm real excited about that one. No, I was pretty heartbroken about JC. He's been absolutely amazing with the Pats, so I hope he has success there in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. It would be frustrating to be a Patriots fan in the offseason. They make up for it with Super Bowls, which is fine, but it can be frustrating. But yeah, they got J.C. Jackson, the Chargers. They got Sebastian Joseph Day, the defensive tackle from the Los Angeles Rams. And then they traded for Khalil Mack. And, they're building around that rookie quarterback or rookie contract quarterback. And I think that's really key. If you have an elite quarterback on a rookie contract, now is the time. You start building. You start signing. Who cares about cap space? You don't have to spend $50 million a year on a quarterback. Go get yourself as much talent around him as possible. So I really love what the Chargers are doing.
Yeah, no, I agree, Joe. I agree. That also brings me to my losers now. I got two losers, and that is the New England Patriots because they have signed no one outside of Malcolm Butler, Ty Montgomery, and Trent Brown, I believe. So I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm glad we're doing something. And then the Packers losing Devontae. I think it was Zadarius Smith, MVS. Aaron Rodgers is literally throwing to Randall Cobb. And Randall Cobb is old. He's kind of washed. He has literally no offensive talent outside of Robert Tonyan. So that offense is just absolutely depleted. Have no idea what the Packers are doing. If they're just like, here, Aaron, we're going to give you your contract. You're now going to be happy until next offseason when you're going to start drama again. But this way, for at least 1 year, we have you happy, and then we'll just tank. And I don't know what the Packers are trying to do here.
Yeah, it is very confusing, and I'll be interested to see what they do in the draft, or if they bring in maybe Julio Jones, Odell Beckham. I don't know, bring in somebody at the wide receiver position, because Randall Cobb is their number one receiver at this point. But yeah, definitely they are big losers. Another winner for me, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, they just quietly make really solid moves, like every offseason, it seems like. Like they kind of, and they did get it. There was one non-quiet thing, and that was getting Von Miller. I do think that they overpaid a little bit for Von Miller, but tell you what, he's a really good quarterback, and he went to the Rams to win a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl. They bring him in on a huge $120 million 6-year deal, 20 per year, and I think it's 51 guaranteed. So that was a big time signing. But then after that, just quietly getting solid players. Like they bring back Shaq Lawson and Jordan Phillips, two former Dolphins that are back. They also played in Buffalo in the past. They bring in Duke Johnson, another former Dolphin. He played really good down the stretch for Miami. Jamison Crowder, I think that's a killer signing by them to go get Jamison Crowder on like a $2 million 1-year deal. I think he's going to be so good there. And then they got OJ Howard from the Bucks, a solid, 1-2 punch there with Dawson Knox. And then they traded a 7th-round pick for Case Keenum, and I know that's not a huge thing, but he's a better backup quarterback than what they had. And to me, I don't understand why the Browns traded Case Keenum away. I think he's better than Jacoby Brissett, but just quietly good moves. And I think they're ready to compete for Super Bowls. They're already there, and I think to me they got to be one of the Super Bowl favorites so far this offseason.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, everyone's been talking about the AFC West so, like crazily. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert. We're forgetting about the man who literally put on one of the most epic postseason runs by a quarterback in Josh Allen, who threw, I think, 9 touchdowns, probably close to 1,000 yards and no interceptions. And the only reason I think we don't see them in the Super Bowl is because they had a last 13-second blunder in the game against the Chiefs. So, yeah, you can't sleep on the Bills, Joe. They made plenty of moves. Sucks again as a Pats fan because we're probably going to finish 3rd in the division. But, I mean, hey, if we're not doing anything in the offseason, there's a reason we're finishing 3rd in the division.
Yeah. You got any more winners or losers?
Joe, I'm out of winners and losers. I actually just had a great idea. I'm going to run it by you real quick and see what your opinion is on this.
Okay.
So we were just about to talk about who we rank kind of our divisions, teams where they would go. But I was thinking, why don't you send me a picture? I'll make a cool graphic. I'll post it on our TikTok. Interact with the fans a little.
That's a great idea. You want to do that instead of doing it on the podcast?
I think so. That we'll post it on there. Fans can interact. They can roast us in the comments. They can let us know what their takes are. There you go. That's a goal with the TikTok. We, TikTok and Instagram, we want to interact with you guys. So feel free to check us out over there and comment what y'all think about our rankings.
Please. The interaction is key. I'll throw out a couple more winners and losers. I just got some written down. Might as well say them. I prepped them. I'm going to say the Dolphins. They're a big winner. And they do this all the time in the offseason. I'm trying to level my expectations, and I might need you to help me, Mike, to just level me out, because this whole offseason I went into it, I was like, we don't have a franchise quarterback. That's my opinion. So like we're not there yet. We're not going to be there. I was not expecting much this season. I thought, okay, we'll win 6-7 games. We'll probably finish 3rd, or compete with the Patriots for that 2nd spot. But they done really good in this offseason. They've done some really good things. They brought in Raheem Mostert. They brought in Chase Edmonds. Just speed. They brought in Cedric Willis from the Dallas Cowboys. Then they bring in Tyreek Hill, and then they bring in Teron Armstead, Connor Williams, the guard. They're shaping up that offensive line. I'm excited. I'm trying not to get too excited because, like I said, I don't think we have the quarterback, but I think they've done a really good job, and there's no more excuses for Tua now. You have the offensive line getting better. You have your receivers getting better. To me, there's no excuses for him. This is a make or break year. And the one thing I love the most about what the Dolphins did, Mike, is they traded for Tyreek Hill. They gave up a lot of capital this year, but they still have 2 first-round picks next year. Okay, so if Tua's not the guy, I think they're very prepared. If Tua's not the guy, if he continues to show he's not the guy, they're either going to trade up for a quarterback, or maybe, who knows, Kyler Murray. Maybe he all of a sudden doesn't want to be in Arizona anymore. Maybe Lamar Jackson, he's not signing a contract there with the Ravens. Maybe he wants to come home to Florida where he's from. I think they're very much preparing for life potentially after Tua if he's not the guy. They now, like, what quarterback wouldn't want to come and play in Miami now with all the weapons in the roster that they have?
To be honest, Joe, I heard some rumors that Brady was going to Miami. So,
I saw that too.
Yeah, plenty of quarterbacks probably want to go to Miami. You make a lot of good points. I still think, at best, they're the number 2 team in that division behind the Bills. But if they get off to a slow start and the Pats just do what the Pats do and just play mediocre like they did last year, then they'll be a number 3 team. So we'll just have to wait till the NFL season starts, which it sucks that it's so far away. But I am so excited for this year with the way the offseason shaped up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really excited. I got a couple more. I'll just losers, Panthers, Falcons, both try to get Deshaun Watson. Both. I mean, what the heck are the Panthers going to do at quarterback?
Maybe Baker goes over there to Carolina.
I saw reports that there was mutual disinterest between the two. They both don't want each other, so that's terrible. Baker's running out of options. Him and Jimmy G are probably losers this offseason.
Yeah.
There's not very many spots left for those two guys. Like, Jimmy G might not even get traded now at this point, honestly.
I mean, it's funny how at the beginning I thought Baker and Jimmy G were the top 2 going to get traded, and now they're the only 2 that have yet to be traded.
Literally. Yeah, that's kind of crazy to think about. Baker, it seems like the only place he can go at this point is Seattle, but we'll see. Maybe there'll be an injury to a quarterback or something. But I'm going to say one of my biggest winners, and this will be the last one, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This looked like a team that was going to be lost. Tom Brady all of a sudden says, I'm coming back. And in turn, they get Ryan Jensen back, Leonard Fournette back. They get Carlton Davis back.
Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin back, exactly. They've signed Logan Ryan, as a decent cornerback. And they brought in Russell Gage on a nice contract. They trade a 5th-round pick for Shaq Mason from the Patriots. I don't understand that, Mike. I would be ticked off if I was you, because Shaq Mason is one of the best guards in the NFL.
I saw it, Joe, and I was just like, that was like, I think one of the first moves the Pats made, and I was just like, yeah, we are literally, Bill Belichick's gone senile. He's gonna go Bill O'Brien and get rid of the team. We're screwed.
What is that?
I trust in Bill, and I'm hoping that we do something in the draft, but I think that we just couldn't afford him because we had no money after what we did last year. But I saw that next year we have over $100 million in cap space. So I think Bill is just setting up for the next year or two, and then he's going to spend big again.
Okay.
So we'll have to see how that goes. But I was very disappointed in that move.
Yeah, that was shocking for a 5th-round pick too. Like, just nothing for and they lose Ali Marpet to retirement, and then they lose what's the name of the guy that went to the Bengals, the guard? What is his name? I'm blanking on his name, but they lost him as well. And then they just go and get one of the best guards in the NFL. Like, really good recovery job by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're going to be a Super Bowl favorite, absolutely. But anyways, I think we've said it all. We were like, oh, maybe we'll have like a short half-hour episode. Yeah, right.
We ain't got time for that. We like these longer ones.
Yeah, we're up over an hour, but no, there's a lot to talk about. We missed a lot, and we still miss a lot. Like, I didn't really talk about the Amari Cooper trade to the Browns. I like that trade, but and like a bunch of other things that we missed. But like we can't cover it all. We tried. We'll have tons of time to talk about football. Mike, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say before we wrap things up here on the pod.
No, Joe, I need to think of something. The basketball thing was kind of just hit and miss, kind of random. We need to come up with something every week just to like talk about. I don't know if it's going to be golf related or, Xbox related or who knows what it's going to be. I'm going to think of something and I'm just going to start talking about it every single time the podcast is over.
Very good. Very good. Hey, I'm excited to be back. I hope you guys are excited to have us back. Hopefully no news happens between now. We're recording this on Saturday. Hopefully it goes up on Monday or Tuesday. So if all of a sudden we didn't talk about some huge news, it's because we recorded it early. It's pre-recorded, but Make sure you guys give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure you subscribe. It helps us a ton. Make sure you share the podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at _AverageJoe Show. And yeah, comment on stuff, really get into the nitty gritty. Give us some, questions. Call us out. Say, hey, Mike, you're an idiot for thinking that the Patriots should have kept Shaq Mason. Or Joe, you're stupid for thinking that Tyreek Hill is awesome. Just do whatever, Maybe don't be too mean because I don't want my feelings to get hurt. But make sure you guys listen. Tune in every week for new episodes. We love you guys. We're excited to be back. So much to talk about. But for Mike and for myself, we will catch you guys on the next one.